I always thought life was meant for adventure, not a cubicle. Every morning I woke up, followed the same routine, sat in the same meetings, and counted the hours until I could go home, only to repeat it all the next day. For years I fantasized about escaping, about breaking free. Then one morning I snapped. No 2-week notice, no farewell party, just a short, simple email. I quit. I packed my bags, booked a one-way ticket to Thailand, and walked out of my life without telling anyone. It felt exhilarating, freeing. But if I had known what was coming, I never would have gotten on that plane. Bangkok was intoxicating, chaotic, alive, and nothing like the life I left behind. I spent days exploring, trying exotic street food, getting lost in bustling markets. Then I met Daniel. He was one of those people you meet when traveling. Charming, experienced, like he had seen things I couldn't even imagine. We met at a bar, and after a few drinks, he leaned in and said, "Daniel, you want a real adventure? There's a place, a hidden island. No tourists, no rules, just paradise." I laughed it off. Sounded like a travel brochure. Then he pulled out a napkin and scribbled something on it. Coordinates. "Daniel, go there. Tell them Daniel sent you." The way he said it, it wasn't an invitation. It was a challenge. And I accepted. The next morning, I found a fisherman willing to take me there. At first, he laughed when I told him where I wanted to go. Then his face changed. "Fisherman, no good place," he muttered. "You don't come back the same. I should have listened." The boat ride was long, the sky darkening as we neared the island. The waves grew rough. Then, suddenly, the fisherman stopped. "Fisherman." "I go no further," he said, refusing to meet my eyes. "You swim." I hesitated. The island was only 100 meters away, but something about it felt wrong. The thick jungle, the silence. Still, I jumped in. As I swam toward shore, the boat's engine roared to life. I turned back. The fisherman was already speeding away. The island was beautiful, but unsettling. No footprints in the sand, no boats docked nearby. As I ventured deeper, I found it. A village hidden among the trees. Small wooden huts, no electricity. Dozens of people dressed in simple clothes, standing in silence, watching me. Then an old man stepped forward. "Old man, you came because of Daniel?" His English was perfect, his voice smooth. I nodded, suddenly uneasy. The villagers exchanged glances. Then the old man smiled. "Old man, you must be tired. Stay the night." I hesitated. Every instinct screamed at me to leave, but the sun was setting, and I had nowhere else to go. That night, I lay on a thin mat in a small hut, unable to sleep. The walls were thin. I could hear voices outside, low, murmuring. Then, footsteps. I peeked through a gap in the wooden slats. They were gathered in the center of the village, surrounding someone tied to a post. My heart stopped. It was Daniel. His face was swollen, his clothes torn. He struggled against the ropes, shaking his head desperately as the old man approached him. The villagers chanted in a language I didn't recognize. Then the old man raised a knife. I backed away, heart pounding, only to feel a hand on my shoulder. I turned. A woman stood in the shadows of my hut. Her expression was grim. "Woman, you need to leave, now." I didn't ask questions. I ran. Through the trees, over rocks. My lungs burned, but I didn't stop. Behind me, I heard shouts. Footsteps. They were coming. I reached the beach. The fisherman's boat was gone. I waded into the water, panic rising. Then a torchlight flickered behind me. The villagers had arrived. I turned to run, only to find the old man standing in front of me, smiling. "Old man, you were not invited here," he said softly. "And yet, you came." I bolted into the jungle. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't care. I just ran, for hours, until my legs gave out, until the screams faded, until the first rays of sunlight touched my face. I had survived. I was found by a passing fishing boat the next morning. They pulled me aboard, speaking in hushed voices. I told them about the island, the village, their faces darkened. "Fishermen, there is no island there," one of them said. I insisted, showed them the coordinates. They shook their heads. "Fishermen, that place is cursed. No boats go there. No one returns." But I had. I spent weeks trying to find answers. I searched maps, asked locals, even tried to find Daniel online. Nothing. No record of the island, no missing person reports, no evidence that Daniel ever existed, just nothing. Except for one thing. When I emptied my backpack, I found something stuffed into the side pocket. A napkin, crumpled, stained, with coordinates written on it. The same coordinates Daniel had given me, only this time beneath them, scrawled in shaky handwriting, "Do not return." I quit my 9-to-5 job to find adventure, but some places were never meant to be found, and some people were never meant to leave.